Why Q never appeared in a Star Trek TNG movie. Of all the memorable characters from Star Trek, The Next Generation, few left as lasting an impression as Q. The omnipotent trickster, played by John D. Lancie, was a cornerstone of TNG's philosophical storytelling, an agent of chaos, humor, and provocation. He was there at the beginning in the series' premiere encounter at Farpoint, and he was there at the end in All Good Things. But despite Q's deep ties to Jean-Luc Picard and the overall ethos of The Next Generation, he was conspicuously absent from the TNG-era films. So, why was Q never featured in a Star Trek movie? The answer, like Q himself, is multifaceted. 1. Tonal mismatch with the TNG movies. The four Next Generation films, Generations 1994, First Contact 1996, Insurrection 1998, and Nemesis 2002, leaned into action, high-stakes conflict, and cinematic spectacle. They explored themes like mortality, revenge, identity, and war. Q, on the other hand, operated best in stories that were cerebral, surreal, and often laced with satire or morality plays. His episodes rarely centered on physical conflict. Instead, they explored existential questions. What is humanity's place in the universe? Are we ready for what's out there? That sort of introspective storytelling didn't align with the blockbuster tone studios were chasing. A Q film would have required a very different narrative style, likely one with fewer phaser battles and more philosophical confrontation, more 2001, A Space Odyssey than Star Trek, First Contact. Hollywood wasn't looking for that in the late 90s and early 2000s. 2. Studio concerns about accessibility. Another key reason Q never made the leap to the big screen lies in his complexity as a character. Q is an entity who exists outside time, space, and understanding. His power is godlike, and his motivations are often elusive. While TNG fans understood and appreciated his enigmatic nature, general moviegoers unfamiliar with the series might have found him too abstract or whimsical for a major cinematic villain. Executives were likely wary of building a film around a character whose conflict was psychological or metaphysical rather than physical. A time-traveling cyborg invasion, like First Contact, is easy to grasp. A cosmic trial of humanity's worth? That's harder to sell with a movie trailer. 3. Writers couldn't find the right story. Even die-hard fans agree. Q stories work best when there's a compelling question at the heart of the episode. Whether it was the introduction of the Borg in Q Who or Picard's introspective journey in Tapestry, Q's power was a tool to dig deep into the characters. That kind of storytelling is difficult to scale up into a feature-length film without it feeling like a long, slow-paced episode. In interviews over the years, writers like Brandon Braga and Ronald D. Moore have hinted that Q was considered for inclusion, but no script seemed to justify his presence. Q couldn't just be shoehorned in as comic relief. His involvement required stakes that felt cosmic and personal at once, and none of the TNG movies quite aimed for that combination. 4. All Good Things was the perfect finale. Perhaps the real reason Q never returned in the films is because he didn't need to. All Good Things served as a definitive end to Picard's arc with Q. The finale mirrored the pilot, tying the series into a satisfying philosophical loop. Q's final lesson to Picard, that is the exploration that awaits you, not mapping stars and studying nebulae, but charting the unknown possibilities of existence, was profound, poetic, and final. Reintroducing Q in a film could have risked undermining the elegance of that farewell. It wasn't just closure for Q and Picard. It was the final stamp on the show's overarching message. In many ways, All Good Things already was the Q movie fans wanted. 5. Missed opportunity or strategic omission? That said, there's still a lingering feeling of missed opportunity. The dynamic between Q and Picard was beloved, and D. Lancie's theatrical charisma would have lit up the big screen. Imagine a film where Q pulls Picard into an alternate reality to test him one final time, challenging him with moral quandaries only a captain of his caliber could navigate. It could have been one of the most unique Star Trek films ever made. And yet, maybe Q's absence was a blessing in disguise. The films attempted to bring the next generation to mainstream audiences. Including a meta, godlike entity may have alienated viewers not steeped in the lore. Q remained where he thrived, in the philosophical realm of episodic television. Q's legacy lives on. Though Q never made it to the silver screen, his legacy endured. He returned memorably in Star Trek, Lower Decks, and Star Trek Picard Season 2, offering fans